Hey, what's up, you guys? This is Sheila Beal, and I'm coming to you with another review of Tyler Perry's Sistas, Season 5, Episode 14. This is called Fair Game. All right, so the episode picks up where it left off with Andy and Karen going over to Zach and Fatima's home, where they are going to discuss this whole baby situation. And y'all, if you do get anything out of my commentary, please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, and just keep, hit the like button. It pushes me through the algorithm so that more and more people can view my commentary. I'm on the road to 2,000. I think I have like what, 8 or 9 more people to get to 2,000 subscribers. So if you do like my content, please don't hesitate to subscribe. All right, now let's get into this episode. It looks like Tyler Perry is starting to unfold a lot of the storylines right now. I see that a lot of the characters are starting to move forward in this Tyler Perry Sistas. So everybody is over to Zach and Fatima's house, and Fatima offers them a drink. Karen said, she don't want none. She really want to get to the nitty gritty. What is this about? What we over here to talk about? Zach is trying to be mature. He's just like, you know what, me and Fatima talk, and we thought that it would be a good idea to invite you over here to talk about the baby. And Karen just like, oh, it took you to talk to Fatima to talk about our baby. And Zach is like, okay, don't start that. But he just trying to keep it cool. Like, I mean, we just trying to talk about child support because I want to get something going on just in case the baby is mine. Because at this point, Zach doesn't know that this may or may not be his baby. Right? And so Karen is like, well, all of a sudden you want to sit up here and talk to me about this whole baby. And Zach said he think it's fair. And then Karen is like, what do you think is fair? Zach said about $3,000. Karen said, $3,000? That's fair? I see. And Zach is like, what do you see? She said, I see you got a really nice house. And then she said, I see you have a really nice car. Shoot, you got like 2 of them. When I pulled up in my little Lexus, Toyota, child, I don't know what type of car Karen got. But whatever that car is, she pulled up in, she was like, it don't look like them Porsches outside. Anyway, she said, I see you more concerned about your money than you are your child. And Zach like, no. He said he just want to talk about everything before he knows if this baby is his. Then Karen like, but yeah, it's your baby. And they looking like, what? Like, how And so Fatima's like, how do you know that? And Karen said, you know that thing you were talking about, the whole ultrasound? And Fatima was like, yeah, the thing I discussed with your mom. She was like, yeah, I did it. And the dates add up. Thanks for the tip. Fatima is like, but it was really close. Karen says, about 7 days apart. And Fatima is just like, but that's not all the way accurate, right? Karen said, I don't care, but it's close. I ad-libbed that part, but she did say it's close. All right. So Fatima is like, don't be combative. And Karen is just like, well, I'm not trying to be combative. They had a whole back and forth. Andy is trying to get the girls to calm down. And then Karen says that, if I'm not cool with it, then I wouldn't be in this house right now. She said, but I'm trying to be cool. And she said, if I wasn't cool, then I'll be talking about that desk that's the same color that Zach built for her when she was trying to study for her license, I guess her beauty license. And she was like, Fatima, what are you studying? Fatima's like, caught out guard, looking like, yeah, you just didn't do but anyway, Fatima trying to keep it cute. And she's just like, oh, okay, we not here to talk about all that. We here to talk about this baby. And Karen is like, okay, right. So Zach, I'm not going to sue you or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. Karen tells Zach she don't need him for nothing. She don't need his money. She don't need nothing. She says she really don't even need him to help raise his child. She says she's always had her own money, and she got Aaron. And Aaron knows that this baby ain't his, but he willing to step in and take care of your baby, Zach. Anyway, Zach talking about he intend to step up. And Karen is like, okay, well, that's good, because he'll have 2 fathers. He'll have 2 baby daddies. Anyway, so Karen, trying to be mature in her own little way. And she just like, you know what? It's good. Andy, you ready to go? Because, we got to go check on Brina. So as they are getting ready to go, they stand up and the scene ain't over, child. So they stand up and they looking around or whatever. And then Karen just starts to look. And she just like, She said, it's really nice. She said, this a nice house, Zach. She said, and Fatima, I wish you well in your struggle. I'm like, God dog, Karen, calm down. And Fatima said, oh, it's not a struggle. And she said, oh, you ain't been in it that long. So you really don't know what's the struggle or not. Anyway, so Fatima was just like, dang, Karen, I don't even think you wish me well. She said, because if you did, you wouldn't be throwing all this shade. And Karen is like, well, yes, I do throw shade, but you know what I'm saying? I don't really see it like that. She said, because I see him and I see you. And she just like, I think it's just messed up. And Fatima is just like, but there's shade. Karen is just, Karen says, well, you know what? I'm human. I ain't perfect. But you know what? I want you to be happy. She says, shoot, I want me to be happy. Matter of fact, Zach, I want you to be happy. Karen, like, you be happy. You get a happy. You get a happy. Everybody get a happy because they need to be happy for this baby that's coming through here. Fatima, like, you know what? I agree with you. I agree. And then Karen is like, you know what? Then she get mad, y'all. She get the looking around, right? She looking. She said, I'm about to get peed out. She said, but you know what's peeing me off right now? She said, this house is peeing me out. She said, all these pictures is peeing me off. The desk that you was the desk in me, that's peeing me out. And so while she looking around, I guess she looked at that desk too hard because she see that ring on that desk. I'm like, why y'all got this ring here? But anyway, India like, you know what? We need to go right now. She was like, hold on, wait, no, we don't need to go. So while Karen looking, she goes over there and pick up this girl ring. How dare you, the audacity for you to get that comfortable and go pick up another woman's ring. Zach caught it too fast. Zach said, give me that back. So y'all engaged? You two engaged? And Andy trying to get out the house. Zach said yes. Yes, we are. Boom. While you trying to sit up here and talk about he got two baby daddies and Aaron gonna come in and help with the baby daddy, we engaged. I said, okay, Zach. Go tell her how you really feel. But anyway, so Karen is like, so that's what it is? That's what it is? You want me to come over here and sign these agreements because of this? You don't want me to interrupt your lifestyle? And he like, nah, that ain't it. That ain't fair. I'm not doing it. So then Karen is just like, you know what? All right, I got it. Andy, because she was like, what do you want? What do you want? Zach said, I told you what I want. And now Karen is just like, you know what, Andy? Zach, you talk to Andy, write up what all y'all gonna do with it. Y'all come up with agreement and y'all just come to me and just tell me what it is. And Zach said, okay, thank you. And then Karen is like, all right, Andy, let's go. They leave. I was like, well, that was kind of mature. I mean, I'm gonna say this. Yeah, I might disagree. Yes, I thought that when I was looking at the trailer, I actually thought that Karen was gonna go off more than what she did. She did go off, but it wasn't just like her, it wasn't to where I was just like, oh, okay. I was actually taken aback because even when she knew that they was getting engaged, she still was like, Andy, I'm gonna let you handle this. And I just thought that was growth. I think that's a part of the character development part that I was talking about, early when I was telling y'all. But anyway, so they leave, right? And then they have this whole heart to heart moment, Zach and Fatima. And I was just kind of sad too. Even when I was looking at it, I kind of got a little teary eyed too. I said, well, y'all really over here acting. But anyway, Zach tells Fatima, you know what? I did do that desk for her. And I did one for you too, but it's completely different. It's not the same thing. And then Zach really starts to tear up because he can really see the hurt in Fatima's eyes. And he says, look, I can understand if you don't want to marry me no more. I can understand that. I know I put you through a lot of mess. And he says, I know you can find a better man that can put you in less drama than she's in right now. And Fatima is like, what is this? What's all this stuff? I don't, this ain't the time for you to be insecure. And Zach is like, I'm not insecure. I can just see the pain in your face. He just says, I watched you and I watched you looking at her, and he just said, it hurts me to make you feel the way that you're feeling. And he said, no man, no real man wants to see the woman that he loves in so much pain. And he says he doesn't know how to fix it. I mean, if he can fix it, he will, but he just doesn't know. He said, Fatima, I really love you, and you don't deserve this. You deserve so much better than this. And I just thought that was sweet. And he said, you deserve better than me. And Fatima is like, but nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. A. But you're perfect for me. Nobody's perfect. A. But you perfect. Y'all probably like, what is she talking about? That's that's the song with Missy Elliott. Who is the dude? What's his name? Featuring Missy Elliott. The dude. It'll come to me. But anyway, the one that said, you fool me, you can't get fooled again. What's his name? Anyway, I know Missy Elliott in it. I don't know why I can't remember that man's name. He light skin, got them dreads. Anyway, whatever his name is. Dang, now I'm finna be stuck thinking about that man's name. Anyway, I can't. J. Cole. I get it. J. Cole. J. Cole and Missy Elliott, nobody's perfect. But anyway, anyway, so Fatima's like, nobody's perfect. She said, I do deserve you. She said, I do deserve your love. And she said, you know what? And I'm going to put up with it. And she said, because I haven't reached my limit. And she said, I know what my limit is. And Zach said, well, can you tell me when I'm close? She said, yeah, but you far from my limit. I said, I know that's right. I got to use that with my own man. When I look at my husband, I be like, I ain't mad because you ain't reached that limit yet. He gonna be like, what's the limit? I'm gonna say, I'll let you know when I burn the house down. But anyway, this ain't about me. This is about Zach and Fatima. All right. So Fatima says she has been through a lot in her past relationships. And she said it just showed her that to watch things very close. She said she just knows just looking at things from her ex. She just know how to watch and listen. And she said, she's going to be careful, which is fine. But at the end of the day, she just said, I'm not concerned about that. She says, you did what you did before me. And that's all it is. She said, I'm just looking for how you can treat me right now. So pretty much she ain't really tripping. She said, I know how you was. All this stuff was before me. And she knew who she was. She pretty much knew who she was getting herself. She knew what she was getting herself into before she decided to do it. And she said, shoot, as long as you treat me right, I'm good, baby. I'm good. And they was crying. Child, they gonna have a good makeup session after this. All that crying and passion and tender love. Anyway, so Zach said, okay. And then they said, okay. And then that's pretty much it. So Calvin back at the house, I guess he was probably fixing him something to eat. And then the phone rang. And then Calvin is like, hello. And then he know, here it is. How I go, darn. You have really reached a inmate call from cell block DC. And do you want to collect this call? Press 0. So I'm assuming he pressed 0 because Maurice answered the phone. And so Maurice is just like, Calvin's like, how are you doing? He talking about, child, I'm over here sitting at the bar of the result. Stop asking me how I'm doing. You know how I'm doing in here. And then he said, have you talked to Sabrina? And Calvin was like, well, yeah, I talked to her. What did she say? And then Calvin is like, well, she gonna try to talk to Andy to see what she can do about helping you. And Maurice is just like, anyway, I need you to do something. You know what I'm saying? What can Sabrina do for me while she out there free? And he called her Sabrina. And Calvin is pretty much like, you know what? She's going to do everything she can do to see if Andy can talk to you, because Maurice said he needs a lawyer to get up out of there. He said he also need a man too. I'm like, Maurice, if you can just not joke so much, but this is Maurice anyway. And and then Maurice kind of gets serious. He was like, I know y'all blame me. I know y'all blame me. And then Calvin is just like, well, we don't blame you, but you knew who the person was before you let him into the house. But my thing is this, Calvin, you must be forgetting that you are the one that brought Q into the home. You are the one that pretty much came to Q's defense when Maurice was trying to kick him out. Maurice said he didn't care if Q stayed on the steps. But you want to sit up here and listen to more Q backstory about all the trauma in his life. And then when he gave in, he sit up here and was doing some slick stuff and ended up getting your girl and Maurice in jail. So completely, I don't really put all the blame on Maurice. Calvin, you got to take some of this blame too. Because at the end of the day, you are the one that let him in the house, and you are the one that vouched for Q to stay. Anyway, and even though Maurice did, stay with him or sleep with him or whatever he did, but at the end, he didn't want him like that. You the one got him in the house. And then the whole time that Q was there, Maurice was still, kind of dogging him out, talking crazy to him and stuff. So, Calvin, you need to take some of that responsibility for yourself. But anyway, Maurice in there, talking about, just see what you can do. Talk to Sabrina, talk to Andy so he can get up out of there. And then he said they're going to do what they can do. And then Calvin talking about he going to text him. Maurice said, I know you just until you going to text me. He was like, nah, I ain't say that. Yes, you did. You did say you was going to text that boy. And then he told, well, I'm going to call you back later. Maurice said, how you going to call me back later, Calvin? I'm going to have to call you in the morning when I get that new phone call. I only get 3 phone calls a day. Anyway, so then Calvin tells Maurice that he loved him. Maurice like, you don't love me, all this stuff. He was like, yeah, man, I do love you, whatever. Maurice like, I don't got time for all that. You just get me up out of here or whatever. So they're going to talk in the morning. All right, so that's done. Hey, Maurice, how you doing? And then in the preview, they made it, when I did my preview thing, they made it seem like Maurice was going to be getting into some trouble by child. Anyway, Maurice, all right. So now Karen pulls up on Calvin while he over there at the park playing basketball. So while she's waiting on Calvin to come over, she calls Pam on the phone. The whole same old back and forth. Pam, you gonna lock up. Pam said she gonna lock up. Karen said, do you need me to come over there? Karen said, do you need me to come over there? Pam said, no, I don't need you to come over there. Because you don't be locking stuff up, right? Pam talking about ever since you've been pregnant, you've been micromanaging her and all of this stuff. And then Pam even said, I'll video record you. Pam said, I'll video record myself, locking everything down, shutting everything up. And then they finally agreed to that. And then Karen is like, okay, well, when Jody leave, go ahead and send me the recording of you doing everything. So they end up getting off the phone and all that stuff. So Aaron, he walks up to the car and he's just like, hey, what you doing here? And Karen is smiling. She's like, I just came over to see you. He was just like, oh, okay, really? Like what's going on? Are you okay? She was like, no, I'm okay. And she said she came over there to thank him. He was like, thank you for what? Thank you for being consistent. And thank you for letting me know that I can, depend on you. And he's just like, you sure you good? Everything is good. And then she also said, I went over and I talked to Zach and Fatima about the baby. He said, oh, you told him? She was just like, yeah, but she's still saying that she's doing really good. So, yeah. Karen says she good. I guess this is more of the character development that they were talking about. And, And Karen also tells him, like, if you have time, can you come over tonight? Aaron, like, yeah, I'm coming over. What you need me to bring? Of course, he said he gonna bring the ice cream and he gonna bring his hands and his fingers because she need a massage or whatever. All right, so after that, Danny comes over to Danny comes over to Karen's house. Gary is right there, butt booty naked, talking about you may enter or come in the house, I'm ready. Whatever he said. And Danny just looking at him like, okay. And so he picks up a bowl of fruit, lemons, or something to cover up. Danny cracking jokes like, you gonna need more than that lemon to cover up all of that stuff you got going on down there, hanging and slanging. And so they cracking all the jokes. So while Gary is trying to cover up his prostates, anyway, and his testicles, he walks out and Sabrina, she comes up. And Danny tells Sabrina that Gary in the back room naked. And now I guess Gary's new name is Daddy Gary, which is kind of creepy. So I guess he went from Scary Gary to Daddy Gary. I'm not calling this man Daddy nothing. Anyway, I'm not calling this man Daddy. So Gary is in there in the next room. And Sabrina is just like, she don't understand why he's there. And Sabrina's still not feeling Gary. Pretty much. She ain't feeling him. And Sabrina, oh yeah. And so Sabrina is just like, do you think we need to leave? She was to ask, and then do you think we need to leave? And then they're like, nah, I ain't finna go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And so then Sabrina is just like, well, I do need to talk to Andy about Maurice. So, or whatever. Then Gary comes back in and they giving, I guess, Gary the whole, I guess the low, not the lowdown, but they just giving him the fifth degree, so to speak. The third degree. I said, is it fifth degree? I think it's third degree. They giving Gary the third degree. And just like, okay, so why are you here? He's talking about he changed. He's talking about he ain't jealous no more. And they're sitting up there talking about, oh, okay, so even though he did do the whole squeezing of her, and Gary talking about he changed, he ain't that person no more, and blase, he really loved Andy, and they not together like that, but they trying to make it work and all of that stuff. So I mean, that pretty much was nothing. And then Gary ends up leaving, and Danny and Sabrina, they still talk about it a little bit more and all that stuff. So while they're talking about Gary, oh yeah, they did say some other stuff about Gary being rich and he got money, and just, I mean, I don't know. I don't really think that's really that relevant, to be honest. I really don't. Because it's the same old conversation when it comes to Gary and Andy. I don't know. They need to just either be together or don't be together, in my opinion. Anyway, so after Gary leaves, then Andy comes in, and Andy is just like trying to come in, hurry up real quick because Karen is behind them. And she was trying to get him the lowdown on Zach, right? Talking about, yeah, I just left Zach and Fatima house. Karen was there. And they was like, what? And as she's talking, Karen comes in. And then they start talking about drapes, pastel, blue colors, and all this other stuff. And so Karen comes in and said, I know y'all over here talking about me. I know y'all talking about what went on over at Zach and Fatima's. And Andy's just like, I wasn't talking about that. And then they bring up the fact that Andy is a horrible liar. And being that she's a horrible liar, then they proceed to say, well, yeah, we were talking about you. And then Karen says about the whole thing about her being pregnant and all of that stuff, and that it being Zach's baby. And so that's when, Sabrina kind of looked, because she didn't know, because she wasn't there when they had did the whole ultrasound thing. And she was like, oh, okay. So that is ex-baby or whatever. So then Karen says to the girls, well, actually, Karen asked Andy, so did you know that they were engaged? And now everybody is looking like, what? They engaged? Really? And again, Andy is not a good liar. She says yes. Karen gets upset. She was like, why didn't you tell me that before we entered into their house? Because you really had me looking like a fool. But Andy's whole thing is, you did not look like a fool. She was actually proud of Karen, the way that she handled herself, because it could have went really left. But Karen is just like, but you're supposed to be my friend. You should have told me this. You're not being loyal to me. And Andy says, it's not my place to tell you that they are engaged. That's not my place. It's your baby daddy, your baby father. That's his place to tell you that they are, in fact, engaged. And while they're having their back and forth, you can see Danny like facts, like true. She's agreeing with whomever is making poignant points. And it's true. And I often feel like Andy is in the middle, and she has to play all sides. So she can't outright say things that she already told Fatima that she wouldn't say. Just the same regard that you told her, don't tell them that she's pregnant. You know what I'm saying? So everybody is looking at Andy to keep the secrets. And to me, Andy has doing a good job at keeping the secrets, I think. But anyway, so while they're sitting there talking about this whole, you making me look like a fool, and Andy is telling her, no, you handled yourself really well. And Danny is like, so what happened? What was the outcome? And Karen is like, he wanted to give me $3,000 for child support. Danny said, ooh, I need to have me a baby. $3,000 extra in my life? And then Karen is like, well, Karen was talking, and she almost made it seem as if that's not enough money, because she said that there's, in the state of Georgia, they supposed to calculate the overall income that Zach made. And she said that she doesn't think that that's enough. But Andy steps in and it was like, but you said you didn't need anything, right? That's what you said, right? And so, and Karen, she sits down and she says, yeah, you're right. She said, I'm fine. And everybody looking at her like, you fine? She was like, yeah. Because I'm thinking the same way Andy thinking, like, you're not finna do nothing crazy, are you? You're not finna try to take this man for everything he got, right? You know what I'm saying? It's almost like Andy had brought Karen back to reality. But Karen sits down and she says, like, you know what? She had a moment of clarity, and she said she's fine. She said she's completely fine. She said, believe it or not, the letters that she wrote allow her to get a lot of the things off of her chest. And she said she feels like her mom was right. And she said, and she got Aaron, and Aaron pretty much gonna be there to help her. And so Danny said, so everything is clear. Because Karen said that she sees things clearer. And then it's like, okay, you see them clear? And Karen is like, yes. So then Sabrina says, so Andy, you not clear. Referring to the whole Gary situation and him being in the house naked and Danny seeing him naked. Not one time, but 2 times. Because Gary said, yeah, I seen him naked on your side of the woods, your neck of the side of the woods, or whatever it is. And then this is the part that kind of tripped me out, because I was like, so you okay with Danny seeing your man booty butt naked twice, but then you look over at Sabrina and say, you didn't see him naked, did you? I'm like, well, does it matter? your friend already saw him naked, so now Sabrina like, nah, I ain't see him naked. I was kind of like, girl. Anyway, so then Karen brings up the fact, so he has a key to your house. Because my questions was when I did my little recap about the the trailer, I was just like, how is Gary just getting inside this woman's house? So apparently Tyler answered the question that Gary has a key. I'm like, when did you get Gary a key, Andy? That's anyway. And so Andy is just like, well, he got a key just like the three of y'all got keys. I'm like, okay, you get a key, you get a key, you get a key. Can I get a key? Anyway, so then this reminds Andy like, hey, I need to get up. I need to call my man because I did tell him to come over. So she gets up. She got a whole phone call she got to make. So she gets up. She go in the room and she calls Gary. And Gary's apologizing, talking about he's sorry for coming over there. And she was like, it's okay. I really wanted to see you. What are you doing? He said he might try to catch a pickup game of basketball. So after that, he might try to come over. She said she's going to try to get the girls to go ahead and leave. She don't know how late they're going to be. But anyway, so pretty much the gist of that conversation, she want Gary to come over and I guess surprise her again. Anyway, so after that whole conversation, they start, it was funny too, kind of to me, because while she in there talking to Gary on the phone, the girls outside talking about Gary. Like, ooh, she needs to pretty much make up her mind what she gonna do about him. Because it's just like this roller coaster that's never ending. So I say slick talking about Andy behind her back about Gary. So Andy gets in, she sits down with the girls, and they bring up Gary, but Andy ways, she switches the conversation and she puts it on Sabrina. And so she's like, well, Sabrina, we're not talking about me, we're going to talk about you. How are you doing? And so Sabrina is really sad because she says that the prosecutor is going after her. And he's going after her by way of Maurice. And she says that she doesn't want Maurice to turn against her. And Danny says, well, actually, he's really not out to get you, Sabrina. He's really out to get Andy. And Sabrina is like, what? And Andy is looking at Danny like, why did you say that? But at the end of the day, that's the truth. He out to get you because of the way you dogged him out and took out his money in that whole divorce case. And Andy had explained to Sabrina, about the whole divorce case, and that's why he's out to get her. And he's using Maurice to do it. But Andy says that he really doesn't have a case because you can listen to the phone call and see that Maurice is being sarcastic. And then here we go again. If you can clearly listen to a phone call, the whole recording, and see that Maurice is being sarcastic, why is anybody in jail in the first place? Why is this even a case? Because if the average person that doesn't have a law degree, that's not a police officer, that's not a detective, my ears, my eyes looking at TV can see that this man is clearly being sarcastic. Why is anybody in jail in the first place? Tyler Perry, why are people in jail? To move the story, I don't know. Anyway, so Sabrina is like, but Maurice is always being sarcastic. And that's the problem. He's always being sarcastic. Oh, this is something that I forgot to mention when they were sitting at the table, when Danny and Sabrina was sitting at the table. So they started talking about, they were talking about the whole Gary thing and how they really too much don't like Gary. But Danny said that she changed her mind about Calvin, Pennyman. And at first Sabrina was just like, I don't want to talk about it. But she told him, she said she was wrong about him. Danny said she was wrong about him because the way that he was holding Sabrina down when he was in jail made her feel like made her feel like Calvin was really out for Sabrina's best interest. And then Sabrina brings up the fact that um that he's really been cool lately. And she also, okay, that he's been cool lately. And when Calvin was over to Sabrina's house, Bio came by and Bio kept his and Calvin kept his cool. And Danny was like, oh, because he don't want to, I guess, get beat up or whatever. But then Sabrina says, nah, he kept his cool, but I seen Calvin get upset. And she was like, really? How? Because of the whole golf club incident when he was beating up Q. But she didn't say Q's name. She said the guy who started all of this, Calvin beat him up with a golf club, and she had to stop Calvin from beating him because she thought that he would kill Calvin. And Danny was like, and you let him? She was just like, yeah, I let him. I told him to stop. And then it was like, shoot, I would have, you know what I'm saying, did it and buried the body. And my whole thing is, why ain't nobody saying Q name? Nobody at all. I guess Tyler Perry want to keep Q with a job as long as he can, because if she would have mentioned Q, then ding, 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 light bulb, that would have struck a chord, and Danny to think, oh, Q, because Q running around here limping, telling me he got beat up. But anyway, I just had to go back because I forgot about that part. Because I just get so exhausted of talking about this situation with Gary and Andy. It just kind of, But anyway, I did want to point that out. So sorry, y'all. So I had to come forward. All right. So they talk about that. And then, they talked about, the whole case being weak, about the whole sarcastic thing. And Sabrina then asks Andy, can you help? You know what I'm saying? Can you help Maurice? And Andy is just like, no, I don't think I can ask Robin again. He already did such a big favor. And she was like, please, you know what I'm saying? And Andy over there just like, unfortunately, I don't think I can do it. I hate to see it. Pretty much he gonna be in jail, honey. But Sabrina is like, please, can you do it? And Andy just breaks down and she's just like, you know what? I'll see what I can do. And Andy is, I guess, being there for all of her friends. So now they move along to Danny. And Danny is just like, okay, so what's going on with you, Danny? Is there, you run around here inviting folk into your house, random men, run them over with cars. And Danny is just like, I need to take a drink. And then she said, and Danny is like, yeah, it seems like, Danny, you've been drinking all day. What's going on? And they talking about, you need to stop drinking. And have you talked to Preston? And so Danny said, yes, I talked to Preston. Y'all think he all good. But oh yeah, she said but he's waiting on her at home, and they think he all good, whatever. But Preston has asked some other girl to marry him, and she saw the ring, and that's why she drinking, because she don't want to really too much think about it so much. Yeah, and she don't want to really think about it so much. And then while she's drinking, she don't want to talk about it. She said she gonna drink all her troubles away. And then Sabrina is just like, well, let me drink too, because I'm gonna drink on behalf of the pregnant woman. So now at this point, everybody is drinking on behalf of Karen, because they're right now commiserating about the men in their life. Everybody except for Andy, because her man about to come over there. And then here go Karen. Can I get some apple juice? Anyway. So, all of that. Zach on the couch, I don't know if he looking at TikToks, but he looking at his phone. And Fatima comes downstairs with the papers. And she sits down beside Zach. Zach like, what are you doing? She said, I'm finna open these papers. And the ones that you don't want to open. Zach said, I ain't got time for that. I'm not about to sit up and read that. So while he's sitting over there looking like he not reading and he don't want to see nothing, Fatima begins to open up the documents. And Zach, like, I know you're not finna do that. She was like, I am. So she opened up the documents and then she looks at them and she gasped like, oh my. And so she puts them back in. So once she does that, Zach looking at her like, so what is it? And Fatima is just like, I thought you didn't want to know. He was like, quit playing, you acting childish. Well, you look at them. So then he takes the documents and he looks at them and he was like, what? I can't believe this. He started getting frustrated. I know he not finna do this. I know he not finna try to get me for $500,000. And then Fatima's like, yeah, he trying to lay the hammer down on you. And Fatima says, and in the state of Georgia, he can sue for that amount of money. I'm like, that dog, $500,000? Boy, you better get you a second job. But anyway, he like, I ain't finna give him no $5,000. I moved to Zamunda before I pay this person $500,000. So anyway, they get off on that. Finally, it comes to the end of the episode where Danny comes home and Preston is there. He's waiting on her. And so Preston is like, I want to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? We need to sit down and talk. And Danny is just like, oh, because, he was on the phone when Danny came in. And Danny is like, so were you talking to the girl that you was about to marry on the phone? And Preston was like, yeah, I was talking to her. And he was just looking at Danny like, how do you know? Well, he did say to marry, but she brings up the ring. She brings up that she saw the ring on the kitchen counter. On the counter when he was brushing his teeth. And Preston is like, how do you know that ring was for her? How do you know that it's not for you? And she was just looking at him like, what do you mean for me? And then he says, did you try the ring on? Then he looking at him like, I'm not about to try no ring on that you didn't even buy for me. Like, the audacity of you. And he says, but the ring is not for her. The ring is for you. And I want to know if you will marry me. And she looking at him like, what? Why? And she was just like, Preston, I can't marry you. Like, she going having all these excuses as to everything that was going on. And he just get down on his knee and he says, will you marry me? Dun, dun, dun. Anyway, so y'all, that was the end of Tyler Perry's Sistas Season 5, Episode 14. I know I forgot a lot. Please charge it to my head and not my heart. And remember, Jesus loves you. And yes, what do y'all think that's going to happen? I'm going to actually put up another a trailer video just to kind of give you my thoughts on what I think that's going to happen on the next episode of Tyler Perry Sistas. So anyway, y'all like, comment, and subscribe. And just let me know what you think about the episode. All right, bye.